Hey, I'm Frank. This is Shift. Welcome to my crib. This is Shift. This is the retail side to our shop. It's a typical neighborhood bike shop focused on service. We do traditional bicycle repairs and services for folks around, and then it also serves as the reception point and teardown for frames coming through for frame repair or paint work with HEX Carbon Workshop, and lets us focus on doing the frame repairs and let these guys focus on the mechanical side of things. Take you into HEX here, where we do the frame repairs. We check in the bikes here, make a ticket for it. This also acts as like our packing area, because this is where we print our Bike Flights labels. The next place it's gonna go to is actually frame rack until it's time. And then all the frames that we work on get protected. So like this frame is getting a repair here on the top tube, and it's getting a couple touch-ups on the bottom bracket, which is why that's the only part of it that's exposed. The rest of it we cover just to make sure we don't get a epoxy fingerprint or accidentally scrape it with some sandpaper or something like that. This is probably the coolest room we have. It's a full downdraft room. So there's fans at the floor, and then it pulls air up through the wall and spits it out through the ceiling and keeps all the dust at a minimum. And so there's also a downdraft table. And then we also use N95 masks, 3M masks while we're working there, because we're working with carbon sanding, and it's not a super clean thing to breathe. And then they'll head behind you to where Andrew's working right now. Right now he's got a roll of 3K carbon, and we've got twill weaves, we've got 45 weaves, we've got unidirectional, we've got carbon Kevlar, all the different materials based on what the use is and what kind of angles we're having to reproduce on that repair. So Andrew's gonna cut the dry material a large enough shape to cover the repair he's doing. And then once he gets that cut, he'll bring it over to the layup table. We don't use pre-preg carbon. We like to wet our carbon ourselves. That way we don't have to bake a frame. Lay the whatever carbon he's gonna use, something like this. We'll go down on the paper, mix up the epoxy, wet out the ply. It'll get impregnated just by, getting the epoxy nice and wetted throughout the plies. And then from there, whatever the layup schedule that we've made will get traced out on the plies. And then we wait about 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, to let the epoxy start to cure and get a little tacky. And then we'll cut those shapes out, cut out the different plies that we're gonna use, and start piecing those onto the frame. Most of the time, we are going to be using a vacuum bag setup. When we do a vacuum bag, instead of just trying to vacuum a real small area, we bag the entire frame. It's just an easier, simpler way to do it than try to build a bag right around the repair area and deal with the complications that come from pulling air through the rest of the frame and fighting with vacuum that way. And we'll leave a repair under vacuum for about 6 hours until it's fully cured. That way we can get not only the shaping that we want, but compaction that's similar to a manufacturer's specifications. When that portion's done, it'll actually go back to dry sanding room and get roughed up so that we can put a couple coats of epoxy on there to get a nice smooth surface. Then that gets sanded down, and then we spray clear coat, and that'll fill in all like the little micro, pockets from the epoxy. And then that gets wet sanded down, and then we move to paint. And we'll do base coats, any graphics that we need to do, and then clear coat on top of that. So then we take it back over here. We'll box it up. Like I said, we keep all the boxes that they come in, and we keep our bag of extra packing material that we use liberally. And then we print out our Bike Flights label. We always purchase insurance for replacement value of the frame, because I don't want to have to pay for somebody's frame, and I think that's just a wise use of money. Yeah, get it shipped back to the customer. Normal turnaround for a repair for us is about 3 weeks. That's kind of the thing we love most, is just keeping bikes out of the landfill. I'm kind of a hippie at heart, and I think that with how dirty the carbon manufacturing process is. For an industry that thrives on outdoor and relies on the outdoor in order to do what we love to do, we got to take care of it. Repairing frames is a much more environmentally conscious way of doing things than just toss them in the dumpster and go and replace it.